When you picture Mardi Gras, you probably think of the biggest, most chaotic street party on the planet, right? But here's the thing. What if I told you that under all that chaos, it's actually a highly organized, deeply symbolic, and incredibly resilient tradition? So, are you ready to see what's really going on behind the masks? Let's deconstruct the party.
To really get the vibe, let's jump in a time machine and go way back to 1835. A writer, James R. Crewe, wrote that on Mardi Gras, all of the mischief of the city is alive and wide awake, with people in masks just recklessly throwing flour everywhere. I mean, you can almost feel that energy, can't you? It sounds like pure, unfiltered, wonderful chaos.
And that, right there, is the fascinating part. Behind the beats, the music, and all that joyful mayhem, there's a system. There's a structure. So here's the million-dollar question. How on earth is all of this chaos actually organized? Well, it all starts with a kind of secret language, one that's hidden in plain sight. So let's peel back our first layer and get into the language of Carnival, the colors and their secret code. Okay, first things first, what are we even talking about here? Mardi Gras is literally French for Fat Tuesday. It's the ultimate last hurrah, the final day of feasting and partying before the 40 days of Lent begin in the Christian tradition. It's the big finale to the whole carnival season. Now, you know those iconic colors you see everywhere? That purple, green, and gold? They were not just picked out of a hat. Nope. They were very specifically chosen by a super influential group called the Krewe for their very first parade, way back in 1872. And these weren't just pretty colors either. 20 years later, the same group, Rex, made it official and gave them actual meanings. So purple stands for justice, green is for faith, and gold represents power. And just like that, the whole celebration has this other layer of meaning hidden right there in the decorations. So, we just mentioned the Krewe, which probably has you wondering who exactly are these krewes? It's a great question, so let's dig in and find out who's really running the show. All right, here's a little secret. The city of New Orleans doesn't actually run the Mardi Gras parades. The entire spectacle, we're talking everything, is funded, designed, and put on by private social clubs called krewes. And these groups are all over the map, from these really old-school kind of secretive societies to massive super krewes that have famous celebrities riding on their floats. And to show you just how different these krewes can be, let's just look at two of the most famous ones. On one hand, you've got Rex, the king of Carnival, who are all about that classic grand pageantry. But then you have the Zulu Social Aid and Pleasure Club, a predominantly African American crew that's famous for satirizing all that royal tradition. Oh, and their most legendary throw? A hand-painted coconut. It's one of the most prized catches of the entire season. Okay, so we've got symbolic colors and we've got organized krewes. But what about down on the streets? Surely that part is just a complete free-for-all, right? Well, not exactly. Turns out, even in the chaos, there are some pretty strict rules of revelry. How about this for a rule? I'm just going to throw a number at you. $250. Any ideas what that could be for? That is the fine for throwing, wait for it, confetti. I'm serious. It is completely banned. And it's because the metallic kind can actually cause some major public safety issues and has even knocked out the power before. So yeah, definitely leave your confetti cannons at home. And the city has a whole list of rules just to keep everyone safe. The big ones are pretty much common sense. You gotta stay behind the barricades, and this one is huge. Never, ever, ever try to cross the street between those massive floats. Always have a meeting spot in case you get separated from your friends, and whatever you do, do not throw things back at the people on the floats. That's a huge no-no.
Now, this level of organization, it's done more than just manage the crowds. It's actually helped Mardi Gras survive through some incredibly tough times. This is a celebration that has proven time and time again just how resilient it is.
I mean, think about it. Back in 1979, a police strike canceled all the official parades. But did the people of New Orleans stop? No way! The street celebrations and masking just kept going. Then, after the absolute devastation of Hurricane Katrina in 2005, the parades came back, and many of the floats were these powerful, sharp pieces of satire about the disaster response. And then, when the pandemic canceled parades again in 2021, this beautiful new tradition was born. People started decorating their own homes as stationary house floats for everyone to walk by and see. Amazing. So you see, Mardi Gras is so much more than just a party. It's a complex, organized, and deeply resilient tradition. It has survived crises that have tested the very soul of New Orleans. And that really leaves us with one last thought. What does its incredible endurance truly say about the power of tradition and community to hold a city together?